The college football experience, conference realignment, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, leaving the Pac-12 episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by our very own Patreon. Yes, score exclusive perks, content, and contests, including our NFL win totals contest with $1,000 prize up for grabs. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. And remember, as always, folks, too, let it ride.
This is Mike Leach, head football coach at Mississippi State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome to the college football experience. Pac-12 detonation episode. Oh my God.
Boom.
It is over. Fucking over. Larry Scott, hope you enjoyed your $50,000 a night meal, hotels in Vegas, you piece of absolute shit. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, well, my name is Colby Swigget, Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink, and I don't have stress, and I'm healthy.
Maybe I do have stress. Maybe I'm not healthy because this thing that I've loved my entire fucking life for the most part, college football, college basketball. I don't know what we're doing, but we're here to talk about it. You're going to say, Colby, you're always negative. Well, it is. I am what I am. All right. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for the DFS god himself. Come play DFS college football with us, even if it's covering the new rivalry of Rutgers and Oregon.
Everybody always throws Rutgers in there.
Well, because they're the one that we're going to talk about that. Give it up for the rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free lock giving, former Herndon Basketball League MVP. Give it over NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go.
I mean,
well, where do we start?
I don't want to play music. I don't want to fucking play music, dude. I hate all this shit, man. They're ruining this thing that I love.
The negative one. I'll try to put a positive spin on all this. Can I? I don't know if I can. I don't think I can. But yes, it ruins a lot of great rivalries. The Pac-12 now is basically, I don't know, man. It might be completely done. I don't know. We'll see.
No, it's done. It's fucking done.
But we still have college football coming up in 3 weeks,
and we have the Pac-12 for one more year.
Yeah, and it should be a fantastic year too.
It's gonna be hilarious if Oregon State wins the national championship.
What's gonna happen to the Pac-12? Should we start there?
Has a team ever won the national championship and joined the Mountain West the next year?
I don't think so. I don't think there's ever been a team that's gone from Power 5 to non-Power 5 ever. So obviously we've had teams ascend. We've never had teams descend. It looks like that's probably going to be about to happen.
This is honestly like this is terrible. And I knew this was coming. I was hoping it would be like 5-6 years away.
Yeah.
But I hate the way, I read an article, I think it was right after Texas and Oklahoma jumped, or maybe it was UCLA and USC, that the TV execs want to change college football to the NFL, and this is their attempt to do so by strengthening the SEC and the Big Ten. I hate that. I don't care about the NFL. All right, like yeah, sure, I'll watch the Super Bowl or something. You know what I mean? Like, but it's defeating to me because where are they? Why would they want to do that? I don't understand. Like, do they have a pulse of the average college fan? Because I don't think the average college fan wants that. And I don't know, man.
The big brands, they're going to be just fine. Nothing is harming the big brands. What did this harms? This harms, the Oregon States, the Washington States, the smaller college football communities. But that football is not going anywhere. Yes, it sucks that those two schools I just mentioned probably won't be Power 5 anymore. But you know what? If they go to the Mountain West, they're going to be very successful in the Mountain West.
I spoke.
I don't like it. I'm with you. I don't like it either. But the NFL is very successful, so I guess modeling college football after that is good for their pocketbooks, I suppose. I'm trying to find out why.
No, I'm curious. I want to know long term if this will work, because I actually think they're out of touch. Yeah. They're out of touch with their average fan. And I think the NFL is not like that. The NFL has their fans based on what the NFL model is.
Yeah.
So I think that's the risky play here, is that like someone like me, I mean, a bunch of people, college football campus tour texted me today saying, dude, I'm out on the Power 5, FCS and Group of 5. Right.
Well, thankfully we have that as a fallback, and thankfully we have that as a fallback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's still going to be a lot of great college football out there. Now it might be Group of 5, it might be FCS, but and there's going to be some interesting matchups that come out of these new Power 5 conferences also. Look, I'm completely on board. I hate all this realignment too. If you ask me, conferences are better when there's about 10 teams in the conference. So you play everybody every year. And in basketball, there's home and aways. That's my preference. But that's not reality in 2023. So I guess we're going to have to live with it.
And people say like, well, they could schedule the Apple Cup in a non-con game. Look, that still sucks. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like part of what makes the rivalry special, and I can attest for this with Colorado, Nebraska. Yeah. Am I glad to see Nebraska on the schedule? Sure, but that used to be the final game of the season. West Virginia Pitt's a great example. Pitt ruined West Virginia's chance to a national championship. That is part of the rivalry. Your final stop. You get to say "fuck you" to your arch rival right before they're about to, play for their biggest game, perhaps in their school history.
And also, is Washington or Oregon or Oklahoma, are they going to allow home and aways, or is it going to be like a 2-for-1 deal or something? So you have no idea. Sure, they can play out of conference, but you don't know if they will.
I'm like Mike Gundy, man. Like, I hope Washington State says, "Fuck you, we're out." Eastern Washington, come in here. Boise State, come in here.
Yeah.
As much as I love the Apple Cup, it's like a slap in the face when you put it as like a week 2 matchup, in my opinion, and especially if it's all in Seattle. So, yeah, I mean, so where does the Pac-12 go for? I think they're done. I think they're officially done. There's no way. So wait,
there's got to be a merger with the Mountain West.
Why would the Mountain West do that though? Because the Mountain West, if I'm the Pac-12 schools, I think I don't think that Apple deal is going to be on the table anymore because Oregon, Washington are gone.
Sure.
So Stanford and Cal, I don't think are attractive for the Mountain West. Maybe I don't know how attractive they are. I mean, what? Now Oregon State and Washington State, sure, but man, you're going from $30 million a year to $5 million a year. I mean, that's going to be catastrophic.
So I think the Mountain West teams can't go to the Pac-12 because of the grant rights they signed. And also, would they be making any more money right now? It's probably not. Does the name Pac-12 or Pac-10 or whatever you want to call it, does that still have any cachet? Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah.
If it's not the Mountain West, then who is it?
This is why it's so stupid too, is you have this playoff that's coming. But guess what? That playoff contract is only for 2 years. This is why it's even more horrible, dude, from a grand scheme of things. They're going to rewrite. So after our 2 years of playoffs, right? In 2026, the Big Ten and SEC are going to rewrite the playoff to say, no, we should have 4 automatic bids because we have an 18-team conference.
Right.
And, 3 automatic bids because we have a 16-team conference. It just sucks, man.
Well, what's hilarious, in next year when all these teams depart, whoever wins the Pac-12 gets an auto bid. Right?
For 1 year. Well,
right.
if there is,
if there's still a conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the Pac-12 obviously is in dire shape. I think we all saw this coming the last couple of days. It was gaining steam that at least Oregon and Washington were leaving. Arizona too. What is Arizona State doing? It's
gonna
kind
have
of like
to
they were
go.
going to be a package deal. So do they
No,
go to the Big
they
12
tried
now?
to salvage they were the ones. Arizona State's president, because he was like
Right.
boys with Larry Scott, was
Right.
trying to hold this whole thing together, and I think they need to go to the Big 12 ASAP. I think them in Utah. So we know Arizona is going to the Big 12. I think that's a done deal,
Yes,
right?
that would make 14, right?
Yes. Now we know Oregon and Washington to the Big 10 because the Big 10 gets them at a discounted rate,
and that's now 18 with
Ridiculous.
UCLA and USC. So hold on,
So
let's do this one conference at a time here. So Arizona and Utah go to the Big 12. Will the Big 12 have them? Is that still on the table?
No. Arizona State and Utah, I think, would be next. Yeah.
Does Arizona State and Utah go to the Big 12? Will the Big 12 accept them? Probably.
Yes. I think that's actually his plan originally. Was now I think if you're a UConn fan or a San Diego State fan or a Memphis fan, you're really pissed off.
UConn was this close.
I know. Patty sees. There's a reason why he's not on this episode. He's punching the walls right now because Northeast football is still not back.
All right, so that would get the Big 12 to 16 if Arizona State and Utah join. That leaves 4 teams in the Pac-12.
And Oregon State, Washington State, Stanford, and Cal.
Right.
And there's talk that the Big 10 will go for Stanford and Cal in 2 years, but I mean, what are they going to do next year? Because they're in the Pac-12 this year.
Yeah,
they have the money though. Like they have the money to do independence. Like Notre Dame, Stanford, and Cal can all do that. You know what I mean? They don't draw like Notre Dame does, but they have fuck you money. You know what I mean?
I still think that would be harmful to their football team and their basketball team going independent.
You think they care?
Maybe not. So maybe they should just stop fielding football and basketball teams.
Dude, there's talk about. I've heard speculation about that. Like long term, do they even fucking care? But Stanford was really good lately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not talking last year or the year before, but like, this is the thing that bothers me the most about all this shit.
There's random winners and random losers.
Yes, it's like I did a tweet last night. Let me see if I can pull this up because. Rutgers, who you always say, Rutgers, that one made no sense to me because they were ass in the old Big East. And if you were ass in the old Big East, that means you weren't very good.
And just because Rutgers is in your division doesn't mean you get the New York City market. That's what I think they failed to realize was I don't think New York City cares that much about Rutgers.
Yeah. And then you add in the fact that Maryland somehow got that pass, right? I did this tweet. It's like
again, are you getting the DC market with Maryland?
No. We
Partially.
grew up in DC. We grew up in DC. Maryland basketball, maybe.
Well, I mean, Georgetown's big around there also, and Northern Virginia, which is part of it, they don't have any ties to Maryland really.
No one gives a shit about Maryland football. All right. Like that shit hasn't mattered since Frank Wright. You know what I mean? Like, dude. So since 1990, because I figure most houses in America, households had cable TV by 90, right? Since then, Washington State has 186 wins. Rutgers has 152, and that counts 20 years of Rutgers being in the Big East, where Washington State was having to grind it out. Washington State's had 11 win seasons. They've had Rose Bowls. They've had top 2 picks in the draft. I mean, Oregon State 170 wins. These programs are so much better than Maryland and Rutgers, or Vanderbilt, or you could make the case they're probably better than Ole Miss and Mississippi State historically in that run.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they or Texas Tech. You know what I mean? Like
for sure.
It just doesn't make any sense. That's the shitty part about this.
And I think I saw some column about Washington State's athletics where they expanded big time. They were improving their facilities and they took a lot of money out on credit because they were expecting this this P5 money to keep coming in. And they're fucked. Now, as a fan of G5 football and basketball, especially football, them in the Mountain West is kind of cool. I would love to see, Boise play at Washington State and do a home and away every year.
But the problem is I think that's like, I don't mind seeing Boise in Washington State or Colorado State and Washington State, but dude, the people that are Washington State fans. I talked to my buddy that's an alum from Wazoo, a lawyer there. He's a lawyer now, and I saw some of the other fans. I saw even Jake Dickert saying like, my buddy said, I will never go to a Washington State football game again.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just overreaction right away to the news, but
at the end of the day, though, you still probably love your university and you still love the athletic teams. And maybe they'll embrace, playing other Mountain West schools, which also are mostly from smaller towns and not big cities. And maybe you just say, do the big FU to major college football, but still appreciate G5 football.
Well, that's what I saw. I saw, speculation of FCS group of 5 come together. And if that was to happen, I mean, hold on, just think about that for a second. I got to tell you that the college football experience, terrible dissolving of the Pac-12 episode, is brought to you by Sports Gambling Podcast Patreon. Yes, Sports Gambling Podcast Patreon is perfect for the diehard DJ. Sign up for the Patreon to get exclusive access to our contest, including NFL win totals contest with $1,000 first place prize, plus a monthly SGP Stories podcast, an ad-free uncensored show highlighting the best stories from decades of being DGens. There's even a Discord channel just for our patrons. The Sports Gambling Podcast has and always will give out their picks for free. This is not one of those claims for that. So look, this is just the Patreon's a great way to support the network and fight back against corporate gambling and these filthy fucking TV execs. You know what I mean? That are ruining the sport. All right. I'm a man. I'm 40. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. All right, we are back on this filthy episode this Friday afternoon.
It's a weekend, man. Come on.
Fuck the weekend. All right? I'm done with the weekend. All right, I'm just someone give me a whiskey. This sucks.
All right, so I think we've established for the Pac-12 what this means. Moving along for the Big 12, you add your 2 more former Pac-12 schools. And that gets you to 16, right?
Yeah.
Do you stop there for now?
I think you have to because I think you have to because of the money from the network side of it.
Right.
Like, and by the way, Colorado might look like a genius in this because, they got $31.5 million or whatever. They gave them equal shares, like the equal amount of money of existing Big 12 members.
Yeah.
Well, now Oregon and Washington, because of the crumbling of this, there's a fire sale.
They have no leverage.
Yeah. And same with Utah, Arizona, and Arizona State.
Right.
So, I mean, you want to talk about hilarious is now. So Rick George might be getting an extension there.
But yeah, so they probably don't want to cut the pie into more slices until they get a new contract as well, meaning the Big 12, right? So at this point, you probably don't invite UConn or Memphis or SMU or somebody like that. I wouldn't think, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody else on the table. I don't think it doesn't seem like the Big 12 is interested in Oregon State or Washington State, Cal or Stanford. Is that accurate?
For the Big 12?
Yeah.
I don't know about Cal or Stanford. I just don't think they would be interested in the Big 12. But
it doesn't seem like a culture fit, does it?
Yeah. I think they're
what do they bring
little
to the table?
bitches.
Yeah,
they're snobby little bitches.
They
We
bring
can't
to the table
play
anyway.
against. Yeah. But I wonder. You know who's really fucking rich is Drew Bledsoe. People know how rich Drew Bledsoe is.
I do not.
He has like a winery. I don't know that he has this money in his account, but I hear this winery is worth like almost like I heard like if you were to add in his winery, he would be close to a billionaire, right? Now I know he made a bunch of money in the NFL, and he owns this like really expensive winery that he still owns. So I wonder if Wazoo picks up the phone and says, "Drew, oh buddy, why don't you say you give us $100 million?" I don't know. I mean, they're gonna need Klay Thompson and Drew Bledsoe money to come in there to save this program. But I don't know, man. But okay, hold on. But what do you think about the idea though of the Group of 5 FCS merger?
Oh, yeah, we talked about this a little bit, and if it was the top of the FCS, which is very good, then I would be on board. I just don't know if you merge the whole FCS because the bottom of the FCS is pretty bad. So I don't know if it's the whole FCS with the G5. I don't know if I'm on board with that, but I would be on board with maybe creating a third tier. Call it whatever you want. I guess keep it as G5 if you want, but then take the schools from the Dakotas and the Montanas, basically the 2 or 3 best FCS conferences, and merge that. Then yeah, I would definitely be on board. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Rush Bishop, subscribe to the Big 12 experience, guys. King George keeps getting sent declarations of independence. Look, I still think there's something there with that. You know what I mean? Like I think if someone's smart enough, once again, there's never any leadership at the top of college athletics, which is why we end up in this stupid fucking spot every time.
Very, very true.
That there's something there. If you were to grab the FCS schools, like a good chunk of them in the group of 5, and then you did a playoff with automatic qualifiers, I think it could beat the other one long term. Now it might not start off that way, but long term, because I think people want to see that. If you told me Eastern Washington's playing Washington State every year,
right?
Idaho's playing Boise State every year. Wyoming's taking on Montana, and then on the other side of the country, your SoCon teams and your Sun Belt teams and Conference USA teams are going at it with the CAA teams. I think there's something there for that.
I like it. That'd be fun.
Yeah, and I hope that comes to fruition, because I'm not on board with this new shit, man. I'm not on board. I mean, here I do a podcast for it, but dude, the passion's not there. I'm a man of passion. All right, and God damn it, if I gotta watch Iowa and Rutgers take it on, Washington, I don't have any desire. I don't get excited for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, no. But you tell me Washington State, you're telling me Washington, Boise State. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go.
Hey, we love regional football around here. That's why we're fans of conferences like the Sun Belt, like the MAC. They keep it tight. They keep it, relatively on the smaller side. All states that are touching each other. That's not what we have in the Power 5 anymore. That's for sure.
So let's try to look at the positives. As I know I'm very negative right now, but I hate this shit. I've loved this.
So before we go to positives,
sport.
can we finish going around conference to conference and see what happens next, if anything, with the rest of them?
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to talk about the ACC, because now they're up. But look, before I do that, I want to tell you the college football experience. It's brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, the NFL season is right around the corner, and Underdog Pick'em is a great way to get down on a ton of NFL player props. It's also available in a ton of different markets, plus plenty of opportunities to win their daily MLB contests. And of course, make sure you enter Best Ball Mania, where first place gets $3 million. Head on over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. Once again, that's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Now, I as much as I do believe that Texas is responsible for all of this, I really do. The SEC at least makes more sense. Now, I get it. Florida to Oklahoma is not an easy drive. That's like multiple days. Right. So I still think the SEC sucks ass with this, but they're nothing compared. I mean, like, I'm on team SEC over team Big Ten. Big Ten, fuck you. You're going all the way on the, like, what are you going to add next? Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, what, Hawaii? That's the next move for the Big Ten to get. It's another time zone. It's another time zone.
New Jersey to Southern California. That's the whole country.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, okay, continue.
Okay. I think we're good with the Big 12. They're going to potentially add Arizona State and Utah. Stop there.
And I like the opportunity that the Dust Bowl gets preserved. Arizona State, the Territorial Cup, right?
Please.
And also
and then Utah, BYU.
The rebirth of that is good.
Nice.
So
and that big Utah Colorado rivalry, that budding rivalry,
Rocky Mountain Showdown, right? No fans are excited about it. So we do get like small little wins. Texas A&M back, the Holy War, BYU, Utah back. Okay. That's a small win. I actually am excited about Colorado and Kansas State.
When you say Texas A&M, it might not be every year though.
Yeah. They need to figure that out, because that That would be a super fucking fail. But yeah, Rush Bishop saying, I love the Holy War. I agree. I think that's one of the best rivalries in all of sports. So getting that preserved. The Big 12 is not on my complete shit list yet.
Of course, it now stretches from West Virginia to Arizona, which
to
is
Florida. They're in Florida too. I mean,
that's damn near the
pretty
whole country.
silly. But they had to do it to survive.
True.
The Big 10 was fine,
Very
and they had
true.
they had to be just true pieces of shit.
Right. Right. You can't blame the Big 12 for expanding now, because that's obviously what they had to do for sure. Okay, SEC, ACC, because that's maybe the same conversation. Because I don't think Florida State goes to the SEC. We've been talking about this also. Why would ESPN do that? They own FSU basically for much cheaper in the ACC.
2026, yeah.
Than they would in the SEC.
This is the best part about covering this shit, because so they're talking about going through private equity, Florida State, which is great because you're gonna. I mean, I actually don't think it's great. I think it's really, really terrible for the sport. You know what I mean? Like potentially, because if other teams start doing this shit, this is basically like NFL ownership. You know what I mean? Like this gets really terrible in my opinion.
Yeah, then you're not even a university really anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be
a professional football team.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Fuck all this. But one thing I did think was hilarious when I saw North Carolina's president speak on this. First off, he was not happy with Florida State. North Carolina Tar Heels president, I forget his name, but
the AD, Bubba Cunningham, right?
Yeah.
Or is that different?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Maybe it was the AD.
He spoke yesterday.
They're all suits. Yeah, I'm joking. No. So they said that hey, Florida State leave because Florida State could go independent. Says no, being in
football.
Yeah.
Now, would anybody be willing to take the basketball team like ACC was for Notre Dame? I don't think the ACC would be willing to do that. I think that would be a burned bridge.
Sun Belt, baby. I don't
even think Leonard Hamilton coaching in the Sun Belt. That's
no. This is hilarious to me because the way that I read it was okay. So Florida State could do an unbelievable risky play by using private equity or going the private equity route. And first off, this is something you got to watch out for because they're going to expect a return on their investment. So it's not like a booster,
right?
It's not like a booster that you just burn the money, whatever,
right?
and then the fact that if they lose in court to the ACC is going to get like $400 million. You know what I mean? Like so. The ACC almost needs Florida State to do this. This is the part that's hilarious. For the ACC to be sustainable, for the ACC to be sustainable with the other conferences, their best play is for Florida State to fight it. Because you end up with 13 schools divided by whatever that number is, 400 million, something like that.
Right.
And all of a sudden that's that $30 million gap that you were talking about, So Florida State, please. I feel like if you're a Duke fan, Florida State, get out there, walk the plank.
You really should leave, Seminoles.
Yeah,
you're better than the ACC. Please leave.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if that's what saved the ACC?
So the only landing spot, though, other than independent, which I don't know if that's too realistic, would be potentially be the Big Ten, but would the Big Ten be willing to take on more? Because they just took on 4 new teams starting next year.
I think this is why I think Florida State's a little fucked right now.
Yeah,
they can try to get all the money they want because even if they fight it in court, if they lose, they're going to be responsible for owing a bunch of money. There's a high chance you do lose, and you can't even play your home games. The ACC will still own your home games.
Right.
So it makes it super fucking tricky for them. I still think
while the ACC is still not in a good position as far as the money they're making, the demise of the conference has been greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, Troy's hilarious. The ACC being saved by Saudi money would be so fucking funny, dude. That would be. Now I still think when I look at the ACC, they're a time bomb, but in a way, that contract keeps. If they just start winning, you have. Yeah. Till 2036, or probably actually more realistically, like 2033, because they're going to be able to buy their way out of it somewhere in the 30s. if they just start winning and dominated. So I don't know. I just feel like all this is fucking hilarious. I mean, the Florida State side of it too, like little bitches complaining. we can't do this. You signed the fucking contract. All right.
Right. Exactly. And, the ACC would be in a better position if Florida State would have been better in football like they were when they originally signed with the conference.
And that's a touchy topic because they bring up the record since 1991 when they joined the conference or whatever.
And that's the other thing too, is that, hold on, Florida State says we need more money to compete at the higher level, meaning that money equals, competitiveness and winning. Meanwhile, Florida State spends the most, their athletic budget compared to other ACC schools. It's the highest and the highest by far, especially compared to, I don't know, teams like Wake Forest who have beaten Florida State 3 years in a row in football.
Yeah. So they're already that's great. That's great irony there. They're already spending way more. They're by far, their athletic department spends the most in the ACC by a substantial number, I think.
And not winning.
Yeah. Fucking hilarious.
Now this year, I think they're going to be pretty good this year, but that remains to be seen.
I hope they lose every game now. I mean, that's the fun part, guys. Going forward into the college football season, I want Oregon State to win the fucking Pac-12 because this would make it absolutely fucking hilarious, right?
Yeah.
Oregon State won 10 games a season ago with a lawn chair at quarterback. Now they bring in a couple. They have a freshman they're excited about, a redshirt freshman, and then they have Ukulele coming in,
Mr. Tight Spiral himself.
Oh, buddy, if they get this going, can you imagine if they make the play? I mean, this would be. I think everyone in the country's got to be an Oregon State fan this year. Can we just declare that the college
for sure,
the official college football experience team, Oregon State and Washington State too, but I don't think Washington State has like a legit
they don't
chance to like Oregon State. I actually do believe could win the Pac-12.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, but looking forward to this year, I'm going to root against Florida State in every game. I'm going to root. I'm going to root against the Big Ten every time they play a non-con game. Right.
I'm on board with everything said so far.
I will root against Tech. Well, I root against Texas ever since the Longhorn Network. I root against Texas every fucking time. So that's going to make it fun. But yeah, I mean, I guess and damn, if you're San Diego State, man. What do you tell the San Diego State fan base? Because that's another thing. They pissed off the Mountain West too.
They completely botched this. I mean, Florida State might be following in their footsteps. I don't know. But yeah. So the real losers, Oregon State, Washington State, through no fault of their own, they couldn't do anything. They were standing on the tracks and the train was coming through. Now, San Diego State, they royally fucked their opportunity. UConn's a loser. They didn't do anything. They just unlucky. It certainly looks like, I don't know if you call Florida State a loser, but I wouldn't call it a winner because they're probably going to be stuck where they're at.
Well, no, they're going to be a loser if they go for that. If they sell off their university, essentially their football team, I think there's a lot of potential for them to be a loser.
Yes. Yes, but they haven't done that yet. So jury's still out. They may become a loser soon.
Let me ask you this:
any other losers other than us college football?
Yeah, I would say Memphis, SMU, Boise State.
That's right, because they were close to P5.
And I guess you can throw UNLV in there because everyone said they were covered, even though that one made no sense to me. But
and Patty C says Hawaii too, and that never made any sense either.
At least Hawaii's been better than UNLV in football.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, so I think, I'm curious. So wait, the Mountain West has 12 teams now, right? Because San Diego State's in. Do they go and grab Washington State and Oregon State to go to 14? And if so, I think that clearly makes them the best group of 5. I personally,
for sure.
I'm shocked. Like when I've talked to other college football people this offseason that think the AAC is better than the Mountain West. I don't understand how they are thinking that. I really don't. I think that I thought before when Cincinnati and Houston and UCF was there, I thought the AAC had a tiny bit of a lead.
I guess bringing down the Mountain West is the bottom. It's the Nevada, the New Mexico, the Hawaii, the UNLV. But up top, Mountain West is very good. And if they got Oregon State, Washington State, so also they just got rid of their divisions. But now if you add 2 more, do they go back to divisions or I don't know. We're probably getting too far down the road.
I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see if they go for that. But yeah, I don't know. It sucks. It all sucks. Fuck the Big Ten. Fuck the TV execs. All right. And look, I would urge the listener before we get out of here. You know, I have a strong feeling if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably a lot like us. Go out this year, make it a point to support FCS football or Group of 5 football. Go out of your way to watch more Group of 5 football and FCS football, because I think that's the college football. That's more aligned with the college football that I fell in love with.
There you go. Support your local college football team, right?
There we go. NC Nick, get yourself out to a Davidson football game, a Western Carolina football game. Even though I know you go to the Sun Belt games, that counts too. So,
come on, G5 is still. Yeah, we're still cool at G5.
Yeah, over here, fuck you, USC and UCLA. I'm not going to your games. All right, I'm not going to any of them. I'll jump down to see the San Diego Toreros or the Aztecs. All right,
Sacramento State, go north.
Yeah, Cal Poly, the Mustangs. They have a 5-star quarterback. So yeah, that's my plan. And I think if you were to attempt to do that, I think not only would you see that sport or the FCS and the Group of 5 get better because your dollar bill matters, you would also see, I think, a lot of what you would know college football to be, say 20 years ago or 10 years ago. Let's go. Yeah, I'm not allowed at the UCLA games either. All right. Fucking losers. Yeah, have fun, Big Ten fans, when you go out to the Rose Bowl and you can't even fucking have a couple beers and yell at the team. See how you like it then, folks. All right.
I can't see, Nebraska fans with wine and cheese in the Rose Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. No, they're gonna hate this experience. They are absolutely gonna fucking hate this experience. Folks, I don't know what else to talk about besides the death of college football the way we know it. And yeah, we'll be here all year to watch the final year of the Pac-12. Wouldn't it? I mean, dude, we got to get 2 teams in the fucking playoff from the Pac-12.
Shit, we'd be lucky if they get 1.
I know, because the carnage. That is a great point. I saw was people. I read a piece about the Pac-12 demise, and it was like Larry Scott. The fact they bet on tech companies, in this everyone cutting the cord, and that's how they lost it. But also they lost it because of scheduling. And it pains me to say this because I read a chapter on this thing.
Scheduled too hard, right?
They scheduled too aggressively. They didn't pay attention. They didn't schedule like pussies. Honestly, there is an art to that.
Sure.
And the article made the claim
SEC has perfected it.
The SEC. I feel like look at Michigan the past couple of years. The Pac-12 should have been doing this because the rest of the sport was starting to watch. The Big 12 even. The Big 12. Yeah. Iowa State would always get those double set of back-to-back away games. Texas never. Oklahoma never. So they were late to the curve. They didn't care about it enough. And for that, we send you seaworthy, Pac-12. All right. All right. This is the college football experience. We'll be back doing team previews all day. I got, I'm glad I'm doing an FCS preview soon. So we're going to be talking FCS. Yeah. There's always a will, there's a way. All right. Go support some FCS. We got the Ohio Valley Big South preview coming in about an hour. So folks, subscribe to the college football experience. We are on, we're on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Give us a follow. I'm on Twitter at DColbyD. NC Nick's on Twitter at NC__NICK. Give him a follow. And we are on YouTube at the College Football Experience, YouTube.com/the College Experience. And folks, I also host the FCS College Football Experience. We also host the College Basketball Experience. We didn't even talk about those ramifications. But we didn't even talk about that. Arizona, the Big 12 is a great move.
Oh, basketball wise, man.
Yeah.
Strong conference got a lot stronger, definitely.
Yeah. So, we'll have you covered more in the coming weeks here. Shout out to everyone in the chat rocking along. Hopefully, get yourself a whiskey. And don't worry, there's always YouTube. You can watch a game from 1985 like me and feel good about life. All right. Yeah. I host the College Basketball Experience, the College Football Experience. Yeah, and Moneyline Mac and Rush and Troy are all on the Big 12 Experience. They're going to talk about it more themselves. And subscribe to the Big 12 Experience because that's a great podcast. Just getting off the ground here. We opened up early July. That podcast kicks ass. Case in Hightower says, "Death to the Pac-12, rebirth of TCE." There you go. Look, West Coast doesn't give a fuck about college football. That's not entirely true. I mean, Utah. That's not entirely true. I mean, I think
whoever says Utah is the West Coast.
No, I mean, well, they're in the Pac-12.
Okay, but they're. Yeah. I don't think of Utah when I think West Coast.
What about Oregon? I mean, Oregon they sell out a game every fucking time. You know what I mean? Even Oregon State.
Not exactly.
Dude, Oregon State and Washington State fans are great.
True.
Or I would argue that Oregon State and Washington State fans are just as fucking good as a lot of other pockets of this country. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So, just because UCLA and USC. Actually, USC actually is not even as bad. UCLA, I would say UCLA, Stanford, and Cal.
Yeah,
those are the three bringing it down. So
they give the West Coast a bad name.
Kobe wearing an XFL shirt while talking about the Pac-12 death is hilarious. That is true, and I hate the XFL kickoff. Death to the XFL kickoff. All right,
that's soon to the NFL
laundry
kickoff,
day.
right?
Laundry day. So you know how it is, right? Yeah. So, folks, until next time. Someone pass me the shotgun. All right. This is the College Football Experience. No episode. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.